All right. Welcome to this episode of But Am I Watching? This is our last episode of our Bridgerton recaps, reviews. This is episode 7 and 8, season 4.
Hi, God, I love it. But let's hop back in because we're not at like a happy point. We left episode 6, the last episode, and our last recap ended with John passing away. And we pick up episode 7 with Francesca mourning and specifically beginning the funeral. I'm a little shocked that Anthony didn't come.
Yeah.
I was curious about this because I also, at first, I was like, they're not Jewish, which I know, because like in my mind, like that is from what I know about like religion, like that's specifically a religious practice where it's like the timing. It's you've got to sit Shiva, you've got like 7 days, like it's I think it's 7 days, but like it's something that's like a very quick timing. And like, I've been around friends and family who've had to like drop everything very quickly to like make sure they can get there and do all of that stuff. But I just didn't know why. I guess at that time, death is like, I don't want to say more, it is more common in general. Like dying young is more common, but also I can think that maybe like we saw like the funerals and all that stuff, it's not necessarily as big because they're happening a lot younger. It's not just for old people who have like saved money away and like you use that for that, but it's like no, you have people who like still have to like provide for their families when they pass, and so it definitely is more of a quiet affair. But also at the same time, I know that Anthony was the one who was with his dad when he died, and so that could have been
But also the travel is a lot longer. Like he's coming from India.
But by the way, I forget that
And they're
this
on a
exists
boat. Like
in the
there's
real
no
world.
Yeah, there's no can't get on a
Oh
plane.
my God, he has to be by boat.
Yeah. Which, that's why Kay was tired. Also,
Yeah, I'd be tired too.
they're coming from they had family coming from Scotland and saying a lot of them couldn't get there fast enough either. So it was just a lot. A lot. And I think it's winter time too. It
It's
was
kind of
winter when
perpetually spring or fall because it doesn't have to be enough. They don't have to show weather.
Yeah, but it was winter the last episode because we didn't talk about it, but it's this episode. This episode later when Benedict goes outside and he's cold and he said he just needs to feel something.
Yeah, but England's kind of always cold. I was like,
Yeah,
maybe
but it was like cold.
But I'm like waiting. When are they going to do a Bridgerton Christmas special? Like, when are we going to get that? When are we going to get all those little babies dressed up as like in their little red and green sitting by the piano? When is Francesca going to whip that out?
Was red and green a Christmas color then?
I don't know. Red was. And green is for the tree. So they had Christmas trees back then.
Did they?
I actually, you know me, I can't place anything in it.
Like, I don't know. I truly don't know when all those traditions started.
Me Googling when was Christmas invented.
I think it's got to like specifically look up modern Christmas, which began in 1837. And this takes place in like around that time. So it would have been a new tradition.
They could have hosted the first ever Christmas. Like, that would have been lovely.
So the books take place between 1813 to 1827. So it actually hasn't happened yet.
No, but the Bridgertons could invent Christmas.
Yes, they could invent Christmas.
The Bridgertons could. By the way, Violet Bridgerton without a doubt invented Christmas. Oh, it's canon here. You heard that now. Ooh, okay.
All right. So we're in this episode. And they start, I don't know if you watched the intro that they do with the Bridgerton thing. They started with the bee.
And the tree is dead.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, cool. We are all in mourning. And I really love what they've been doing with Eloise and like her growth here. Like she is, not only is she such a good sister, she's trying so hard to be a good sister. And specifically, like we're watching Eloise learn through all of these storylines. We're watching her learn how to show up for people, how they need her to. Not how she wants to, not how like she wants to be brought into this world or how she wants to be seen or treated. She's now being like, this isn't what you need, let me do what you need.
Yep, and all because of Hyacinth yelled at her.
Yes! And I was like, "You know
Good.
what? Great.
Good baby
Sometimes,
sister.
by the way, you were the littlest sister for now the little one can fight back.
Mhm.
She needs to put you in your place." Like,
Yeah.
that's exactly what you needed. And I mean, it did make me sad initially. It's a very small funeral. Most of his family is not able to come because it's far. This also made me be like, so did Scottish accents not exist at this time? Because, like, I know that there's, like,
Right.
universal
I think that they were essentially the Kilmartins are colonizers, so, like, they were
Oh, that makes a lot of but of course, my brain didn't go there because
Mhm.
they
Yeah.
are in fact black. So,
Yes.
that's
Yes. Mhm.
you're right. If we bring back to the real history of this, why
Yeah.
they wouldn't have Scottish accents. You're right. But it's, we've got the fact that, yeah, they're and it's sad. We get to the reception essentially, like, after,
Mhm. But
and
even before that, though, at the when Benedict is giving the eulogy and he's at a loss for words because
because he's
usually this would be what Anthony's
yeah, because
doing.
turns out he's low key a little bit issues with reading comprehension and
Yeah.
writing, and words are not his strong suit, clearly. Which I still think he did like a good job, and it was sweet. And there's nothing to say, and it
Yeah. He's spoke on John's integrity and unwavering love and his loyalty, but, like, the grief is what is really filling in the gaps.
well, and it's sad because like the whole thing is that like John to everybody else was like a relatively quiet guy. That's
Mhm.
because like and he was perfect for Francesca because of that. And so this whole family that's like never really understood their sister, she has now lost the one person who really understood her.
Mhm.
And I think that part is so sad because it very quickly we see like Francesca, everybody's trying to get her to grieve, and like she doesn't know how to outwardly emote. She just needs to get through it. She needs to micromanage. She needs the control. And everybody's pushing back on that except for Eloise, who's like, okay, that's what you need. I'll give it to you.
Mhm. She tells her if you wanna scream, it's okay to scream.
Mm-hmm. But when she brings the plate of cookies over and everyone's like, that's like not her job. That's what you have the maids for. She brings them and she's like, try a cookie. Eloise grabs the whole plate
Said,
and
"Bitch, y'all are all taking a cookie."
she goes, "Grab a motherfucking cookie."
Yeah.
And she's like, "What is this? Cinnamon, ooh, nutmeg,
Mhm.
ooh, starting,"
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
literally making everybody talk about this, and they're catching on. And
Yeah.
in that moment, Sophie, also who has lost her dad,
Mhm.
sees the emotion that Francesca's being overwhelmed with and makes an excuse and says she needs to go up there and fix her hair. And not to give more spoilers, but to me, Sophie's reaction to Benedict saying that he has been with men and her reaching out to Francesca for this, I do foresee that maybe we will see more of Sophie during Francesca's other season as being someone who's like a safe and understanding person for what
Yeah.
she goes through in the future.
Yep. And, Eloise also finds Hyacinth because Hyacinth is, like, freaked out too because this is really the first death that she's experiencing because Violet was pregnant with her when their dad died, and she's asking people if that's how it was when their dad died 'cause she doesn't remember at all, and Eloise later finds Hyacinth, and Hyacinth's like, I swear off love," and she doesn't wanna be heartbroken the way that she sees that Francesca is.
And also, again, because like medicine's not there in that spot, so it's like,
Mhm.
how am I supposed to like find a true love match, fall in love, and they could just drop dead at any moment, and we won't know
Right.
why.
Mhm. So then Sophie goes outside to get some mint, and Benedict is standing there. Like I said earlier, he's standing there and he says he's out there because it's cold and he just wants to feel something. And he appreciates Sophie staying through the funeral. So once again, she's extended her stay because first it was for Hyacinth's recital, dance rehearsal, whatever that was, and now it's for the funeral. And Sophie confirms she's still leaving in a week and nothing has changed between them. And Sophie tries to comfort him, but Benedict pulls away. He's trying to be strong for his family, and Sophie's presence is making everything harder.
Mhm, mhm. And we move on to Francesca grieving, and everybody just trying to get her to feel her feelings, Violet trying to,
Mhm.
Penelope, everyone. And then she finally snaps and says that she can't just let loose because she is with child.
Mhm.
In this moment, I was like, "Are you lying to cover up why this is how you feel the need to, like, micromanage your grief?" Which is fine.
Mhm.
Or did you actually miss your period, and do you actually think that you're pregnant?
Yeah. Also, Violet tells Lady Danbury, like, during the reception that she's the only person that knows that her and Marcus are engaged, and it doesn't feel right to shift the focus away from Francesca right now. And Violet tells Marcus that Francesca isn't letting herself grieve, and Violet can't prioritize marriage or even the announcement. And Marcus is deeply understanding and saying that anything you need, I am here for you.
Yeah, and it's just it is sad.
At the Kilmartin house, Michaela explains that the Scottish approach is to honor the dead with laughter and dancing and joy. And that's what John would have wanted. And Francesca takes this as a criticism, like she's not grieving correctly. She can't do a funeral correctly and lashes out, refusing to turn John's death into a circus. And so their friendship that they had been holding on to is there's some fractures here.
Yeah, because it's, like, the difference between a funeral and, like, a celebration
Mhm.
of life, and Michaela wants and I think she's being patient with it, but, like, Francesca needs that, like, she needs
Mhm.
something happy. And then we get to Queen Charlotte, who has been making, like, strides in growth and understanding that also, I think she's starting to recognize, like, her age, which makes me sad too, that, like, she's in this cage, everybody else is in this cage, but, like, this cage isn't forever, and if she doesn't let people out, the only way they're out is once they die, and, like,
Mhm.
I think she's starting to recognize she can't keep all of
Mhm.
those things so close.
Yeah, and she had said in the first episode or second episode of the season that, like, she needed Lady Danbury to be there with her because her husband
Mhm.
what
And
happens when he dies.
in Queen Charlotte, she references being stuck here as a cage. So, this scene made me just sob, but
Yeah.
she's with Agatha, and she's talking about missing Lady Whistledown, like, missing that, and saying that she needs something to look forward to,
Mhm.
and it slowly turns into the conversation about Agatha leaving, and when she was like, "I am sad," I was like, "Oh," I sobbed. Like, I just sobbed. I thought it was, like, so sweet, but then she wanted to hold one of the dogs, which
Yes.
really broke that and made me
Mhm.
laugh, and she said a line that I wrote down that I loved, which was, "Perhaps the bitch needs some water to cool down."
Yes, it was so good.
'Cause she's, like, so me where it's like, she's finally being vulnerable, and then she goes, "Whew, need a little comedic relief to cut
Mhm.
this,
She's like,
up
"I
in here."
can't, I can't, I can't
No,
be this vulnerable."
no, and I think it's just she's just so good at that role, which,
Mhm.
I loved.
And then Violet brings up Sophie. This is later, with Violet and Benedict. And Benedict snaps. He's furious that Violet raised them to find their true love, but now tells him to walk away once he's found it, and she's a hypocrite.
This is the first time in his arguments with Violet about this that I go, "I am actually on your side, Benedict, like, you are right." Like, she has stressed that, and somehow nobody else has ever questioned, "Well, what if we fall in love with someone from a different world?"
Yep, and Violet is shocked to realize that it's not a tryst, that Benedict is actually in love, and now she is, I feel like, fully now on his side.
Yep, I wrote in all caps, "Find her fucking dad. Start gossiping. My gosh." Like, focus on this. Like, by the way, if you told Francesca, "Hey, can we, like, lay off you for a week to figure this out?" I'm sure she'd be like, "Thank you.
Yes,
Get
I've
off
been
my
telling
dick."
y'all to leave me alone.
And I'm like, "Just leave her alone or give her this project." I'm sure she would love to help too. Anything to take her mind off of it.
Yeah, or Eloise. Like, this is
Yes.
right up
She's
Eloise's.
sitting there bored as
Yes.
hell.
Then
Ugh.
Violet finds Sophie frantically searching for her necklace on the ground in the drawing room, and Violet admits that she knows about Sophie and Benedict, and she is now trying to find a loophole, a noble tie, to make it workable but finds none. Like, she's basically begging Sophie to tell her, and Sophie's just like, "No."
Yeah, she's like, "Do you have any pertinent information to, like,
Right.
perhaps who your father could be?" And she goes, "No." And it's like she believes it. And I'm like,
Mhm.
"You know you're lying.
Yes.
Why? Why are we lying?" And also, by the way, Violet, your son already knows.
Mhm. Mhm.
You should have asked him. He would break a lot fucking quicker.
Right. I'm actually surprised he didn't tell her.
I know. What's the point of keeping that either?
Right. So then Sophie tells Alfie it's torture staying in the Bridgerton home and she needs out. But now the Penwood job that Sophie hoped for is gone because Cressida hired someone else while Sophie stayed at the funeral. And then Alfie finds another position, a lady's maid for a family that's moving to the Americas. So now we do have
I
a
forgot
mention of it.
America exists in
Well,
this
it's new.
world.
It's new.
Yeah, but I forgot it was even. I forget that anything exists outside of this.
Yeah. So, and the job, she needs to leave in 3 days. And Sophie is torn because it ends any chance of a happily ever after that she could have with Benedict. But now we've got, things are getting serious whenever they put a clock on something. So now we've got a clock. We've got
Yep.
3 days.
Thank God.
Mm-hmm. Back at the Penwood house, Araminta and Rosamund are going out dress shopping because Rosamund is probably getting engaged to some man.
Mm-hmm.
And she tells Posey that she has to stay home, that she should stay home and, like, read a book or something. But it's also just part of her bigger plan because she has Varley spying on Posey. And so Posey throws Varley for a loop because Posey sneaks out the window.
So at first, I thought that Varley and Posey were in on it, like, together. And then it becomes much later that Araminta made them think that they were allies in this situation while
Mhm.
she was taking advantage of both of them.
Yep. Yep, and
And she's,
so
like, uniquely evil.
she is.
Like, I'm like, "Damn, you're creative."
Yeah. And she used her power for better. She could be a lady in waiting.
I know. I'm like, "Ma'am, you could be, by the way, this whole curse that you keep killing your husbands, okay, now we know that about you. Have you ever seen Practical Magic? Date
No,
up.
she
Get
hasn't.
some rich people."
She hasn't. She hasn't.
It's
It has not
folklore.
existed
It's
yet, Megan.
folklore. But I'm just like, my God, like, find a really rich man and have him die and inherit his stuff. But, like, we could use our powers for something else.
Yeah. So the whole plan was that Varley was supposed to follow Posey because she knows that Posey would lead her to Sophie. But the thing is that Posey literally hasn't gone to see Sophie this whole time. The only time that they were in the same place together, Araminta was there too. Her back was to Sophie.
Mm-hmm.
Posey does go see Sophie and warns Sophie that Araminta will have her arrested if she finds her. And Sophie tells Posey that she's taking a job in Americas and she will be gone in 2 days and Araminta will never find her. But that also makes Posey sad because she's like, well, I'll never see you again
Yeah, now I'm
either.
fucking stuck.
Yeah. Then we're at the Kilmartin home and the royal lawyer is like, Francesca has to undergo an examination to prove that she's pregnant.
Okay. So this is where I have questions. First
I
of all,
don't know.
Benedict screaming at him, very sexy. I was like,
Mhm.
that was hot. That was
He
hot.
does stand up for women.
Totally. And then he gets inside of them.
Mhm.
He stands up on both ends for women. But my thing is that, like, how the fuck do you know if someone
I
is
don't
pregnant
know.
internally that early on from, like, a missed period with your
I don't know.
hands and a dirty dish rag?
I have no clue. I was going to look it up, but then I didn't
Me
because
too,
I
but
don't want to know.
that's exactly what I
And also, I'm like, is it the fluids? Because fluids do feel
So,
different,
when
but
you're ovulating, you have, like, a thicker
mhm,
not even just, like, discharge, but, like, a
it's a
mucus in your
yes.
vagina, like, that lubricates or whatever.
But you could get that for other reasons, not that
Yes.
aren't pregnancy related.
And also, like, that is how you know when you're ovulating. Does that
Mhm.
stay when you're pregnant? And also, like, there's no shot that there's, like, anything to feet.
I don't know.
I was so confused. And
I
that
don't know. If
dirty dish rag he wiped his hands on afterwards, I was like,
Right.
"Oh
With
my
her
god."
fluids while her
Yes.
brother's in the room, like, gross. If you know, put it in the comments, but don't give me the full story.
Yeah, tell us, like,
Just give
the,
me
like
a one-sentence summary.
yeah, give me the, ABC Family version. Don't give me the Discovery Channel version.
Mhm. So, she's not pregnant, and she also didn't want this done because it's so invasive. Because she's getting fingered while
Mhm.
her mom and Eloise are holding her hand.
So do you think she
Again,
thought
where
she
is
was
Daphne?
no, the way that thought get the other sister who didn't know how to get pregnant. Like,
Right.
come on, get the other sister in there who was like, "What's that? Where you're putting that where?" That's who you need in this moment. But also, like, did she actually think she was pregnant?
I think she thought she was pregnant. In the book, she does have a miscarriage.
Okay.
It wasn't explicit here.
Well, because it does the way that
It
it
seemed
seems
like
to
she
me like
just
she missed her
wished.
period.
Yeah,
It
or she
wasn't th
wished it would happen.
yeah, and that she was like, I didn't get my periods like a day late or something. Like that to me was how it read. But then when she was really hesitant about them doing the test, I wondered, I was like, oh, does I don't think she was lying about being pregnant, but I think she knows that if they check, she thinks more than likely than not she's actually not going to be pregnant. And she wants to like live in this idea of her being pregnant for as
Mhm.
long as possible. Because it's like,
Yeah.
it's her connection. And then
And what he really wanted a child, and she could not provide him, and now he's gone.
she has like the breakdown to Violet about she's like, "You mom, you keep looking at me with this look like you get it, and like you actually don't because like you
Yep.
got to be married to dad, you had a life with him. Like I hardly had a life with him, but you also have 8 different pieces of him. And
Mhm.
like I don't have that. All he wanted was a child. I wasn't able to give him a child. I couldn't give him anything." And then she just starts crying saying like, "I have nothing. I have nothing." And I was like,
Mhm.
"Oh my god."
Hannah Dodd is an incredible actress. She originally auditioned for Daphne, and I'm so happy she did not get Daphne because she has these quiet moments that are so good, and then these when she's being loud are also so good, and she just draws you in. She's
Mhm.
a great actress, and I feel like she's going to blow up.
Oh, totally. Like, her performance builds in a way
Mhm.
that, like, makes it feel so realistic. Like, it's and this, like, explosion with her mom is, like, the loudest we've ever heard her, and, like, when it devolves into her saying, like, "I have nothing," it's that, like, we have heard her insecurities before compared to her siblings, that her siblings are really loud, they have all of the like, she doesn't have this, like even how, like, Eloise has a passion for books. She doesn't
Mhm.
have that. Like, she just
Mhm.
is, like has more of a quiet life and hasn't had these, like, desires and dreams and these same things, and when she finally found like, she found a thing that made her feel like she fit in with everybody else, it's gone, and, like, without that, she doesn't know who she is or what she has.
Yeah, she calls it a curse.
Yeah. Which is just
So
sad.
sad.
So, so sad.
Oh, and then Violet confides with Mrs. Wilson, and she fears that she's letting her children down. Edmund was supposed to be there to help her, and she can't solve everything. And Mrs. Wilson reminds Violet that the children don't need answers to every question. They only need you to love them. And that moves Violet.
Moves Violet and reminds her that Benedict loves Sophie, and now it's time for a talk with him, where she essentially says, "You love her, but you haven't proposed? Like, okay, you're a fuckboy." Like,
Yeah, he's like, you have to go for it.
yeah, if this is your true love, you can't have one foot in and one foot out the door. Because if you did truly love her, like, you essentially, you would give this up for her,
Mhm,
and, like, we would still love you regardless, we won't love you any less, we'll do whatever we can, but, like, I still have to protect my other children, you have to
mhm,
protect your sisters, but, like, go for it if that's what you want, but also, like, she's obviously trying to end it and break it off with you because, like, you haven't even proposed, like, you haven't
mhm.
act you keep saying that you care this much about her, but, like, you haven't done the one gesture to show that she does mean as much as you say.
Yeah, and Violet tells him that if he chooses Sophie, he must part from the family, and it will never change how much she loves him.
Mhm.
And then Benedict goes and lies down in the bed for his classic Bridgerton lie in the bed and reflect on my pain.
Yep.
It happens every season. So then Benedict goes and checks on Francesca, and I love this scene. She's at her piano. He joins her, and he plays a tune that he used to play when she was little and made her laugh. And then Benedict self-deprecates himself about the piano being another thing that he gave up, and Francesca gently tells him that he's too hard on herself.
Mm.
And Benedict tells Francesca how much joy she brought John. You lit up his entire world. It was almost insufferable for the rest of us. And this helps Francesca release the pain, and she laughs and accepts Michaela's idea to celebrate John's life with joy.
And after that, we then have Araminta and Posy's conversation
Mhm.
where Araminta implies that she knows where Sophie is, essentially calling Posy's bluff, and says that she's at Bridgerton House, all of these things. She plays into this, like, sad of, like, I have a killing curse on me. I lost your father, and then I was lucky enough to have another love match. And I was like, how did you have a love match with him? Like, the second guy, if he had a kid that you didn't, I was confused by that. But basically being like, I know, she's at Bridgerton House, and Posy thinks that she has figured it out. And it's like, don't worry, she's going to the Americas tomorrow. Like, it'll be fine. And Araminta's essentially like, so is there. I was right. Like, thanks for that.
Yeah, she's being vulnerable, so it seems, with Posey just to
Mhm.
manipulate her.
Which is so evil.
Yeah.
So, so, so evil.
So then we're at the Kilmartin celebration, and all the Bridgertons are there, and they're celebrating John's life with some of his family too. And it's more cathartic and true to John. And so people are sharing memories. Michaela speaks first, calling John her greatest friend and her partner in mischief since birth. And he was her guiding light. And I felt really sorry for her because he's probably the only one that truly understands everything that she's going through in her life, and that she can't fully be herself either, but they could be themselves together
Well, they
with
talk
each
about,
other.
like, what happens to spinsters, like, how does it, and it's like you have to essentially bounce from family member to family member, and if you have one family member who, like, not takes pity on you, but, like, before you're the age of, like, essentially, like, helping mind after the children and being, like, a role model and all of that, when you're still young, like, you just have to be lucky enough to have a family member who, like, wants to support you and does support your life, and that was him for her, which she doesn't have to, like, explain it to other people because, like,
Mhm.
he knows and he gets it.
And Francesca gives a speech that she doesn't want to remember John through the unfairness of his death, but through the joy and love he gave. And he understood her instantly, could read her thoughts by looking, and he was more than a husband. He was her truest friend, and she wouldn't change it for anything. Then Michaela leads a dance called the Stag, pulling Francesca to the front, and the whole room joins. And they're all laughing, and this is the first time that Francesca and Michaela are kind of like reconnecting and not yelling at each other or being sad. And they're dancing and turning their grief into joy. And so it's a beautiful memorial.
It's very, very, very sweet, and, as we're in the celebration of life, Violet tells Benedict, "You're right, I did push a love match for everybody, and, like, life is short, and love is the most important thing, and if you have found someone you love, you can't give that up. You have to go
Hmm.
for it, and you really have to go for it," and he's running out being like, I gotta go to Sophie," and she's like, "Hold that thought. Check the drawer upstairs in your desk. I left a family heirloom ring for her
Hmm. Her
there."
grandmother's.
Which was, like, so, so sweet, so sweet. Because that's also, like, a physical representation of, like, you know, if it was whether it was her family or not. Because I know she married way up, like Violet did, to marry into the Bridgerton family. That's what they
Yeah.
wasn't not like that
She married,
level of weight.
yeah, yeah, yeah. They were still pretty
Yeah, they
prominent.
were still
Yeah,
in high society, but, like, the
yeah.
Bridgertons
There
were.
was a Her mom was a bitch, and her dad was boning Lady Danbury.
Mhm. But that to me was like a it didn't come from the dad's side of the family. It came from, like, her side of the family where it was
Mhm.
like, "Hey, it might not have always been easy, but, like, we were not from exact same statuses, and, like, we got together because we loved each other." And that was because he had asked her before, like, if dad was a commoner, would you have been with him? And she was like, "Yeah," like, she
Yep.
knows that. So, he is on horse, getting there as fast as he can, while simultaneously Sophie is packing her bags to leave for the Americas with, who knows, the Osbournes, like a random family just moving to America. And she sees the gloves, and it's like, now I'm leaving, but for my last trick, I'm gonna give this man one little mind fuck. I'm gonna give him the answer as I board a goddamn fucking ship to a America where nobody will be able to contact me. Like, that is the most toxic behavior ever. She leaves the glove and she sees the mask, which then I go, I already forgot the mask plot. I forgot about the lady in silver at this point. Because he did.
How? He's still got the drawings, and
Yeah,
she
but
even
they're both
found that
her.
painting. They are both
They're
her.
both her. So it's hard for me to remember
Yeah.
that.
Benedict also finds the ring, and while he finds the ring, he finds the necklace that she's been looking for too. And so it was under his bed because they had slept together. And then he has an aha moment. Wait a minute. I've seen this necklace before.
Which is crazy because you've seen it on her neck when you were fucking. She
Yeah.
wears it every goddamn day.
But she usually wears it under stuff.
Sure. Sure. I guess he was a little busy when those titties were on top, so he was
Yeah.
like, I don't know. I did write down initially that I wondered if, which I kind of think would have been a fun way to do it because it would have changed the ending a little bit, that I thought that Violet was going to find it and she would recognize the necklace and it was like not, it was from a family that was not
See,
a maid.
that's what I thought too. I thought that was gonna be it. Or I felt this honestly, I felt the reveal was a little lackluster.
Me too. Without like, I was like, "Oh, so we're just gonna lie. Like, we could have done this all along. Like, why do we
Mhm.
act like the stakes were so high for whatever, we'll get to that." But then I thought maybe, and this would have been more period accurate, and unfortunately, period accurate, it still would have been a little bit more palatable for them, is that maybe it wasn't a maid, maybe it was, like, decently close incest, so it was, like, frowned upon. But again, they did that back then.
They did.
So it wouldn't have been, like, but it might have been, like, a little bit too close or something like that, that it was because they and most of the incest that goes
I
on
think
here
you're going a
is
little too far with
well,
the
I was going
incest
period
plot.
accurate, but because in general, most of the it would be, like, cousins who didn't live together, but it's like, but
Yeah.
if they lived together, back then, not enough of a it's not too much of a blood relative relation, it's too much of a social relation, and
Mhm.
so I was like, maybe if it was, like, something like that, and that's how they're all penguins or whatever, or something. That's what I thought it was gonna be with the necklace and recognizing it, not that he found it. Because I was like, "Who's supposed to be cleaning your room?" Because they didn't do a very good job of that. Because Sophie has everyone on staff looking for this necklace.
That's true. That's very
So I
true.
was very confused about that.
Serendipitous, maybe,
Yeah.
I guess. So then Benedict storms to the kitchen asking where Sophie is. The servants say that she already left for Penwood House, but then Hazel stops them and is like, actually, Sophie is leaving with a family bound for the Americas tomorrow at dawn." But Hazel doesn't know the name either, and so Benedict is still like, "I gotta find her," 'cause Hazel also says that she's going to stay with that family tonight.
Mhm.
So Benedict doesn't reach Sophie because as she's leaving the Bridgerton home, Araminta
Wee-oo, wee-oo, wee-oo.
arrives with the police officer
The constable.
and points to Sophie and says that she's the thief. And Sophie Beck is hauled away to jail.
For
And
stealing the shoe clips and impersonating a woman of high nobility.
mhm. And so then Benedict comes outside, and that's how we end. I like this shot because it's like a wide shot, and then because we think it's over,
Yep.
and then they push in on his face, and it's like, "No, we're just beginning."
Well, and I love that it's like she rides away in the police carriage, and And the shot is still. And it's not immediately after, but it's like 5, 6 seconds. Then he comes out and I go, that's realistic. Because like
Yep.
by the way, horses, not that fast. Like you'd hear the clop, 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 clop down the street and you go, let me just chase next to the let me run on these cobblestones, reach there. But it was like just still shot, waiting. And then he comes out and then we've
Yeah.
got that. And
It
I was
was
like,
so good.
that was really
The
good.
directorial choice for
Yeah.
that.
It was really good.
And that's the end. So now we'll get into the finale, episode 8.
This is where we have all the characters from the ensemble come together. All the characters that we have said throughout this season going, hey, I really like this person. They said, it's time for us to get together and we're going to solve this mystery gang. Like, it's Scooby-Doo. We have Posey, Varley, Hazel, and Alfie coming together as the Avengers. They are going to fix this. They are going to solve this. And I had complete and utter faith in them. I wrote this down before it even started. I was like, I know that they're going to come through. And that's what they did.
Yeah. This episode is called Dance in the Country.
So as Benedict, they're trying to figure everything. It's who's where, all of this stuff. We're going to figure this out. We've got this. It's the next morning, right? And they're all in the Bridgerton room where they sit and have tea.
The drawing room.
The drawing room. They're there, and Benedict and Violet, they're hatching the plan. The plan has been hatched, and people never thought to tell Eloise or Penelope anything that has been happening. They don't know who we're fighting about.
Gossips.
They don't even know. Okay, we're on level 10 right now. I'm actually not even sure who's playing what role. Who's in this? What are we? And they're like, oh, she's in jail. Who's in jail? What are we talking about? And then very quick, Benedict is in love with Hyacinth's lady's maid. And they're like, huh? Sophie? And it was like, you're in love with Sophie? And it was like, yes, they were in love. He's trying to propose to her. And they're like, hold the fuck up. How did we miss all of this? Like, good thing Lady Whistledown is retired because, like, yeah, you are not on top of it.
Right. And we've got Sophie sitting in the prison and the policeman is like, you need to reach out for help. And I'm like,
you get
call
one
Benedict.
Call. By the way, I go, so biblically accurate, you get one call? Like, is this the origin of you get one call? We'll send a carrier pigeon to one person. And then they're like, and he's like, well, yeah, don't send, essentially being like, I'm trying to help you out. This lady's fucking crazy. She's hell-bent on ruining you. Don't send it to someone.
Help too.
Yeah, don't send it to someone who's within our social class because, like, she will find a way to, indict them as well. And, like, she's like, oh, I guess I have no one then. It's not like Benedict Bridgerton was just eating me out for 20 no, I guess I can't. What? Sophie,
she's also just as clueless as he is. They are a perfect match.
By the way, you don't even have to do Benedict. Eloise, Posey, Hyacinth, Violet. Lady Danbury.
Violet has been trying to get information out of you for so long. Like, and she's just like, dee.
I'm like, what the fuck are you on about? You have multiple people who you could tell.
Yeah, and Posey is horrified when she learns what happened, and she stands up for Sophie, and then that's what Varley overhears, and then Varley realizes that Araminta was just setting everybody up, and she can't live with it, and then that's what leads to the Avengers assembling.
Yep, that Varley runs to Alfie. Alfie's like, say less words. Get through it. Come on, quicker, lady. Come on, please. Oldie. Like, I need you to speed up, old. And then he goes, I know what we do. And then they go to Hazel. And Hazel's like, okay. And then Hazel needs help from, what's the other woman's name? The older woman who works at the Bridgerton house?
Mrs. Wilson? Yes, Mrs. Wilson.
And so she's like, and Mrs. Wilson's like, shut the fuck up, everybody. In court, this is the plan. This is what we got to do. And so I guess, despite that this seems like a pretty corrupt and not so thorough justice system, it is quite prompt because immediately she's in front of a man in a dusty wig.
Yeah, after Araminta has come to her and it's like,
oh yeah, like, you admit that you did everything and like, I'll drop it. And I'm like,
yeah.
But then by the way, that made no sense. She's like, confess. And I was like, confess to a crime while I'm in jail and you think that's going to get me out of jail?
Right.
Okay.
Like, she
Okay.
coulda left and been gone.
She just that's why I'm like, she's so uniquely cruel and evil that, like, at the end of the day, I don't know that the backstory that we have of Araminta is not justifiable enough in her treatment, like, for me at all. Like, I think it's so disproportionate, and I, like, truly, like, don't really feel any sympathy
I
for
don't
her
either.
at
I
all, and,
don't
like,
either.
she's an irredeemable character, and, like, usually in these things, like, people have reasons, like, Cressida to me, a very redeemable character, but, like, Araminta, I'm like, "No, no, you're, like, evil for the sake of being evil," and, like, even the way that you treat your daughters, which is very evil stepmother, like, yes, you treat them better than your stepdaughter, but you also don't treat them well either. Like, it's just, like, even Rosamond, you don't treat her well either, but, like, it's just a matter of
She's just a paycheck for her.
yeah, it's like
Like
trying to get out unscathed from, like, your
mhm,
mother's
mhm. Her
way.
whole sob story was like, "I couldn't produce a male heir."
Yeah, and I'm like,
And
"Okay, tough shit."
right, and so now she's trying to marry Rosamond off to the highest bidder, essentially.
There's also a way to go about it, like, the Featheringtons, like, they were fucking broke, they needed the money, they
Mhm.
needed their kids to marry off, and, like, Lady Featherington has a sadder story to me, and, like, she also she just makes more sense, like, Araminta's, like, quite literally evil of this. And then we get her like, Sophie being like, "I'm not admitting anything, like, you didn't pay me for 7 years.
Mhm.
You
She
you s
also didn't steal it either.
No," and she was like but she's not gonna rat out Posey, but
Posey.
she's just
Mhm.
like, "No, like, I'm not if you're putting me in jail, like, what the fuck do I have to lose? Like, you stole" she's like, "You ruined my life." She goes, "No, bitch, you ruined my life. Like, you took everything from me. Like, you have made my life fucking hell, and, like, it's already hell, might as well hell be behind bars. I'm not gonna do anything to make your life easier because me admitting this would make your life easier, not mine." And so then suddenly they get to see their day in court very quickly, which I was like, quite prompt. Sophie is there, and the judge is like, she's representing herself essentially. Araminta's just like lashing out at her. And then who busts through those doors like Elle Woods and Bruiser Woods? Violet and Benedict saying, "Not too much." And then it's like, "Who are you?" He goes, "I'm Benedict Bridgerton." Which I love Violet being like, "Okay, that's not enough." And then she just starts name dropping everything. And then for the first time ever, we do get a reference to the Duke of
The Duke.
Hastings.
Yes.
And she goes, "And finally, the Duke of
Right.
Hastings." And I
Mhm.
was like, "Oh yeah, we remember him. He still exists in this universe?
Mhm.
Okay, okay." And they're demanding proof, essentially, of being like, "Well, what's the proof? Like, she deserves a trial. Like, she deserves, like, prove it." And Araminta goes, "Proof?" And I was like, what the fuck do you mean? You think that you can just and also the judge being like, "I guess." And I was like, "So you also don't need proof either. That's
No.
just how this works, is if someone of high nobility accuses someone of lower class, it's just kind of a done deal."
And that's exactly what it was.
Yep.
Also, that clip was worth nothing because remember she tried to sell it for
Yes!
some money and it was plastic.
And so when the judge had asked, being like, "Okay, if she has to repay the cost of that," and Violet was like, "We'll give you that. We'll double
Mhm.
it. That's fine." And she's like, "No, it's not about that." I'm like, "Yeah, because you knew it was fucking plastic. Like, you knew it
Right.
was also fake." And so in order to, a great twist of it, of, "Oh, great judge, would I am absolutely drowning in work. My household cannot run without with one of my maids. Would it be possible if she
She
if in
released
yeah, you
you
release her
release
into
her
my
into my
custody
custody. Mhm.
until the next hearing, that would just be like, you'd be doing me such a big favor." And
Yeah.
he's like, "Okay."
Yeah, the judge is actually over this shit, and he's like, "Y'all
Yes.
need to just work this out," because I don't think he believes Araminta
No, I
anyway.
think
He's
it
like
also seems very early in the morning.
yeah, he's like, "I was asleep. I usually
Mhm.
don't have to do anything. Can you please just work this out and
Yep.
don't come back here?"
Yeah, he was like, "Ideally, would love if you could just talk amongst yourselves and figure this out."
Mhm. And
So,
gives them a week.
a week where Sophie is housebound to the Bridgerton home, which I was like, I love this twist. Like, this is so, so good because much like she was at my cottage, Sophie is not a maid at this house anymore. For this
Mhm.
week, Sophie is a guest.
Yes, because Violet doesn't want her daughter-in-law sleeping down there in the servants'
Nope,
quarters.
nope. But she also doesn't want her fraternizing with Benedict.
So she
She puts
says
her across the hall
right,
with her
right.
two youngest horniest
Yes.
footmaids and ladies' maid to
Yes.
make sure that they don't fuck, who happen to also be trying to fuck.
Yes.
Aw. Okay, Violet.
And
Violet's
also
trying to
she
get a
knows
grandbaby.
Yes, and she also knows that Footman John is the one that would cover for Benedict while he was with his ladies of the night.
And
So,
she also
like,
knows
she
that, like,
knows what's happening.
she knows that Hazel is Sophie's best friend.
Mhm.
Sophie and John,
Mhm.
Footman John, they have a thing together.
Mm.
So, like,
Hazel and Footman John.
yeah, Hazel and Footman John. But then also, you're saying that as the help in this house, you need to make sure that she doesn't do something. So sorry, Lady Bridgerton. They have loyalties to you. That's their girl. They're
Mhm.
like, if
I
she
think she knew, though.
I think
There's
she
no way, because how we open this season is that she has Footman John take her to where Benedict is having sex. She knows she's just saying what she needs to say for public perception, but she knows what's gonna go down.
So, well, my other theory is, besides Daphne and
Francesca?
if Violet can do any bit of math, those grandbabies were born, you know, her kids were fucking before their wedding day. They were.
She knows this.
She knows this, and so I think
And she calls him a rake, too. Like,
Well, I also
the
think
biggest
that
rake.
she likes to have a wedding and a baby in very close succession. I don't think she wants you to be visibly pregnant at your wedding, but I think she doesn't like there to be 9 months of waiting. I think she would prefer 7 or 8. I think she wants you to get a little bit busy beforehand so we don't have to wait that long. We ride the wedding high, and then we lie about the birthday of the baby for a little bit, and then yay, there's a new baby here. And we're saying it's undercooked, but it's definitely not, because you definitely fucked before you got married.
Yeah.
So that to me was like, she was so intentional with that. And the part that I really like about this is that, like, which I was like worried about, how you go from being someone who has like quite literally like cleaned like up the food fights on the floor of this home to then being someone that and the whole thing, they make Violet seem like she really sees everyone who works for her like an equal. Like, that makes total sense. But I was more so worried about like Hazel and John and these people who like she was their peer, that like, does this feel, weird now?
Yeah.
But
I was thinking about that, especially when we get to later in this episode.
But when Violet talks about Sophie, she talks about Sophie like Sophie's the more responsible. She can trust Sophie more than she can trust her own son.
Mhm.
And I was like, I
Yeah.
like that aspect of this, because like she fully believes in not only like them as a couple or them loving, but like she loves Sophie independently of this. Like, she really loves her as a person, which to me, I was like, okay, so if you can love her that much as a person, as someone who works for your household, that to me speaks much more volumes about how the household is. But I still feel, how is it going to be with everybody else? Like,
Yep.
her there. It's just a very odd mentality, which is why I'll get into that, what I think later.
So later, Hazel distracts Footman John because they're going to go bang, long enough for Sophie to slip into Benedict's room while he's preparing a bath.
Now we're fucking in the bath.
Well, Benedict confronts the lady in silver first, and he's mad that she lied.
If I was Benedict, I would be mad that you didn't tell me.
Mm-hmm. This whole time.
By the way, we fucked, and you didn't tell me you were the lady in silver. But at the same time,
I just felt this was just a letdown for how it was revealed.
Well, at the same time, I also would have been mad if I were her, that I was like, you couldn't tell that you were fucking the lady in silver.
Right.
But like, I would be mad if I was both of them. Like, there is no right answer.
We talked about in the first episode, I'm not. He's obsessed with me on so many levels.
He's obsessed with every version of me.
Exactly. So obsessed that he can't see past the other version of me, even though I look the same.
But that's also why she's worried he's gonna like fall for someone else, because she's like, you think that I am 2 different people. Like, what if you fall for someone else like that? Like, you can't even realize that like that's both me.
And see, it's like a Lois Lane falling in love with both Clark Kent and Superman. Like, you can't be mad at that.
That's true. It's true.
And so he's hurt that she believed that he couldn't handle it. or that he would be disappointed that she was a maid because clearly he knew. I mean, clearly he showed that he loved her. And he thought that Sophie truly saw him. And I was like, you didn't truly see her.
Literally.
Yeah.
Legitimately. You couldn't see her. You couldn't open your motherfucking eyes.
Yeah. And Sophie explains the secrecy wasn't about Benedict. She opens up about her father leaving and leaving her nothing and the emotional abuse of Araminta. And Sophie believed her father loved her until his will made her feel like he couldn't love an illegitimate child. So Benedict promises triggered that old fear in her.
And for the first time ever, a man asks a follow-up question.
Mm-hmm.
Because she goes, I wasn't in the will, so turns out he didn't love me. And he says, have you read the will? And this is how you know they're perfect for each other. Because this dumb bitch
that
goes,
would have been
no,
the first thing.
actually,
That would have been
the fucking will.
First thing I
Are
did.
you stupid?
Yes.
And he's looking at her like stupid. And I go, first of all, not too much from you because you're also a motherfucking idiot.
Right.
And he's like, you haven't read it? And she was like, no. And he was like, you're in it. Like, you're without a doubt in it. And the way that he says it, it's coming from the place of being like, if we have an illegitimate child, that child's in my will. Like, I'm not ignoring. Like, there's a father's love is not conditional in that sense whatsoever. And they decide to celebrate early.
He also apologizes for even asking her to be the mistress.
Finally.
And then he asks her if she wants to get married, and consequences be damned.
Yeah. And she says, no, not right now. Like, not with the trial looming and all of these different things. And thank God he listens.
Because she can't get pregnant. That's the thing. It's like,
she's like, I'm going to have a baby in jail?
Right.
No. But then I'm definitely going to die. Already my risk of dying in childbirth, high. I'm going to do it no. And thank God he fucking listens.
Then they get naked.
Yeah.
Get in that bathtub, which this is something which I'm learning from reading comments, that this was a scene that from the book that everybody definitely wanted in the show.
Oh, okay.
And so that's why, like,
it's very long.
in the promos, we got them walking around the bathtub, touching the bathtub. And so that was getting people excited for what was coming.
I have to say, if you are sneaking into someone's room, I'm assuming you don't have much time. I would never consider in-water fornication the quickest way to do it. Like, I'm like, this is, first of all...
They were taking their time.
And, like, how thick are these walls that, like, nobody can hear any of this going on?
They were well-made houses. They're not the throw-up houses that we have now. So.
Also, considering the entire bathroom is carpeted, that he's completely getting soaking wet.
Carpeted, and they have, like, drapes on the walls.
Yeah, so when we are splishing and splashing, I don't know how there was any water left in that bathtub to begin, but when
do you have the same thought that I have?
So at first I was like, don't fucking you're giving people unrealistic expectations. Like, you can't, there is no lubrication. Water is not a lubricant. Like, this is going to be painful. And then she was like, no, I don't want to get pregnant right now. And then he says, turn around. And I said, you're going to put it
we're about to have the anal?
I was like, well, I guess, maybe he wanted to explain to her being like, I know what I'm doing. I've done this before, both ways. And I was just like, whoa. Like, that's kind of crazy. And also, like, imagine surprise anal in the 1800s. Like, whoa, that's a lot.
I mean, he has experience. So,
she doesn't. He's trying to put it in her butt.
He would have talked her through it.
He would have loved it. He wouldn't care. He would not.
Yeah, but it was just that he was going to finger her. That's
I was like,
what it was.
Okay. But
okay.
Was that
it was a shock.
I need to know because I fully was like, you're putting it in her ass? Right. Holy shit. Okay. He goes, I know you just lost your virginity. You had another hole, by the way. I was shocked. And I was just so relieved that there was no penis penetration in that dirty fucking bathwater. Ooh.
Yeah, because they hadn't cleaned all day.
No.
But now they're squeaky clean, and everyone shifts into strategy mode to get Sophie out from under Araminta. So there's a lot of plans going on.
We gotta find the will.
Yeah. Well, first, Violet goes to Lady Danbury and asks her to speak to the Queen because she's like, this girl is illegitimate, but her father was a nobleman, and Danbury's like, I doubt the Queen will endorse a gentleman marrying a maid, but she has a bet with Penelope, so that might motivate her.
Mhm.
And this is also their last goodbye before Lady Danbury leaves.
And she also offers to stay longer, again,
Mhm.
being like, "I can stay, I can help with this," and it's like, "No, no, you gotta go," but, like, whatever you can do in this time period, however you can spin it, however you can sell it would just be helpful.
Yeah.
But it's gonna happen regardless, like.
Mhm. So then Lady Danbury goes to talk to Queen Charlotte, and Charlotte is not moved at all. She's like, "This is the tea that you're bringing me? No, thank you." She doesn't wanna change society's hierarchy and moves on, but then Alice, being the sneaky, conniving, wonderful woman that she is, I'm so glad she's getting more to do
Me
this
too, I
season.
love her.
Yeah. Here's Benedict's story. She also knows because she was there when they were confessing their love for each other.
Mhm.
So then she can't let it go. So then she goes home and then is talking to her husband about Benedict's love. And it's like, you know something that I don't know. And he's like, how do you know that I know something you don't know unless you know something? And so then she pitches this risky idea to help Benedict and Sophie and stand up for the lower class because that's where they just came from. They were able to move up, and plus maybe earn Alice a place in the queen's inner circle. If it fails, it could ruin their family. So she's like being a little sneaky about it, but Will's like, "You've got my full support because he's a good husband."
Mhm.
And then also Sophie apologizes to Eloise, and Eloise says it isn't necessary because she's just annoyed that the most interesting thing was happening in her home, and she had no clue.
Yeah, she's like, "What the fuck have I been doing? I've been
Moping
sitting
around, get on your Zoom.
I've been sitting here with Hyacinth complaining,
Mhm.
and, like, I could have been paying attention to this?"
Like, literally, Benedict set you up to know all the information because he had you bring her to me, essentially, and then I
Mhm.
sent you off. Also, I'm sure she's pretty salty too because usually her and Benedict talk about everything on their little swing talks, and so she's probably feeling slighted from that too. So then Sophie asks Eloise to call on Cressida at Penwood House so Sophie can search for her father's will, and she's sure it's still there. And Eloise then goes and visits Cressida with Sophie and starts having conversations about how the house is now very pink. And Eloise pretends like she is very much into marriage now, the marriage mania, and listening to Cressida. And even Cressida is also revealing that she reads now, which Eloise is like, oh, okay, you've grown. And Cressida admits that marriage can limit independence, but anti-marriage arguments don't sufficiently value love, and Eloise surprisingly agrees. And then Eloise shifts to witnessing Benedict and Sophie and even more Francesca's loss with John. She apologizes for being too self-centered to see Cressida's crisis last season. And they part with no bad blood. But meanwhile, you've got Alfie and Irma, who helped raise Sophie. We haven't seen her in a few episodes. They help her find the will, and they learn that Lord Penwood not only left money for Sophie, a 18,000 pound dowry, but also was giving Araminta 4,000 pounds per year for every year that she kept Sophie under her roof, meaning that the wicked stepmother profited off of Sophie while also not paying her.
Mhm.
And the dowry, the 18,000 pound dowry, was split equally. Like her and Rosamond and Posey all got equal amounts, meaning that he loved them equally.
Mhm.
Then, while waiting at home, Benedict spirals. He'll fail at keeping his promises and has always been a disappointment. And Violet refuses to hear it and tells him he's never disappointed her. And I'm like, Violet, you're lying.
And then she goes, "Okay, that was a lie."
Yeah.
I just lied right there. I just lied
Uh-huh.
right there. I
Mhm.
have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, I lied.
Violet says Benedict reminds her of herself when she was young, wild and carefree, doing the opposite of what her parents wanted. When she met Edmund and fell in love, she didn't need a wild rebellion anymore. She was just happy, and I'm like, "Violet, were you also a rake? Is
Yeah.
that what you're telling
I'm
us?"
like, "What's" and they definitely felt like they were setting the stage to be like, "You guys want this season?" I'm like,
Mhm.
"Yes, we do.
We do, we
We
do.
want it."
Violet realizes she misses that wild, carefree girl and wants to find her again. And so then she goes and talks to Marcus and breaks
I
off
was
their
so
engagement.
sad.
I know. But she still wants like a situationship. She just needs to figure out who she is outside of the kids and outside of marriage. Eloise talks to Hyacinth, who Hyacinth is still down and out about marriage and she doesn't want to debut and she's still sad about John's death. Now Eloise kinda sees the advantages of marriage and companionship and family, and fear can't stop them from experiencing something special. Then we've got Francesca and Michaela, and they are let in on the family scandal, and Francesca also tells Michaela if she needs distance, she understands. But Michaela is moved by how the Bridgertons support Benedict and says that love does not always look how one expects. And I'm like, "Mm, blue, getting little, we're getting little bits and pieces of which season is going to be
Yeah,
next year.
I was saying that to Mott's because Mott's asked, he was like, because he had noticed that with the other seasons. He was like, "Do we get, like, a hint?" And I was like, "Yeah, but, like, I
They're
think."
throwing a lot of stuff at the wall
Well, I
here.
think what they're doing is what they did more of, like, this year, where it's like there's not, like, 2 full plots going on at the same t
Hmm.
2, like, marriage or getting together plots that happen at the same time, but, like, ones that span multiple seasons,
Yep.
and then, like, which one's gonna be the one that has that season,
Hmm.
which is fun, like, it does keep you guessing.
And then while Francesca is sitting at home learning how to get her fingers working, I don't know if you noticed this, but she was like fingering the chair, the arm of the chair. And I was like, this is
That is not
such
subtle. That's
foreshadowing. She was
funny.
caressing it. It was a lot going on. She hopes that Michaela will stay in London because she's the only person who truly understands what Francesca is going
Oh, and she
through.
sees what those fingers do, and she goes, "I'm actually
Mhm.
gonna have to be on the first carriage out of here because
Yes, Michaela
now
is.
I'm getting a little hot and bothered, and I'm supposed to be
Yes.
grieving, and that is
Uh-huh.
inappropriate."
Yeah, Michaela is, like, looking at her. Francesca holds her hand. Michaela pulls her hand back. But she also had said that she wasn't gonna leave Francesca. But
Francesca says that she leaves all the time, like, she always
mhm,
leaves.
mhm.
So,
So then we're at the Queen's ball where it's a farewell ball for Lady Dansbury.
in tiny little font that people needed to take their magnifying glasses out and be like, "Oh, is this petty?" And I was
Right.
like, "Yes, but, like, that's how they do it." Like,
Mhm.
she's like, "You can leave, and I'll let you, but, like, I'm still not happy about it,"
No.
and, like, they need to know I'm not happy about it.
No. And so this is where everything converges at the ball. And Charlotte and Agatha share a teary but
Ugh,
giggly goodbye. We have so much fun together, they say,
I
which is
s
something they said in Queen Charlotte.
I sobbed. I sobbed.
I did too. And then the Bridgertons sneak Sophie into the ball. Alice swiftly gets Aramita and Rosamond and Posey into a room to face Sophie. Meanwhile, Rosamond has also been proposed to. And, Benedict and Violet are there as well, and the truth comes out. Aramina is pissed. She is raging.
Yeah. I was waiting for her to, like, quite literally, like, lunge at them.
Yeah, I thought she was gonna cut a
Me
bitch.
too. I thought she was gonna get and, like, I don't know if Violet could fight, but, like, in that moment, I was like,
Sophie can fight.
Sophie's going to
Yeah,
rip it's gonna be, like, cathartic. This is what
yeah,
she's always wanted to do, is absolutely beat specifically this woman up.
yep, yep, and I wouldn't put it past Posey jumping in to help.
No, yes, without a doubt.
So, it's also revealed that the dowry that has been promised to Rosamond's betrothed is a
Well
lot of money, and guess who figures it out?
well, Posey had that conversation with Eloise where Eloise was like, "You
Mhm.
have to stick up to your mom. Like,
Yep.
you gotta do it, and, like, it'll be okay." And she says that she's like, "I knew a girl who had a mom like yours, and she has, like, a beautiful life now." And Posey's like,
Mhm.
"Really?" And so Posey's had a guy who's been interested in her, and she was like, "Okay, so I should, be able to call these shots more." And so in that room, Posey turns to Rosamund and goes, "How much is your dowry?" And the mom's
Mhm.
like, "Oh my God, stop." Doesn't think that Rosamund's gonna answer. And Posey just goes, "Mine's 18,000 euros, right? Pounds.
Yeah, pounds. It's pounds.
Pounds back. Yeah. 18,000 pounds." And immediately we see that, in fact, the accusation that Sophie hurled that she has now split the dowry 2 ways instead of 3 ways. Nope. Turns out, in order to get Rosamund married off, it is doubled.
Mhm.
Doubled what she got. And that's what Sophie thought because she's the favorite. But Rosamund goes, "You didn't think anyone would marry me without
Right.
36,000 pounds?"
This scene was so good.
Well, and then it made sense because after, like, prior to that, Eloise was like, "Oh, that's who she's with." And it was like, "Oh, yeah, he just is Lord Moneybags. Like, he's
Mhm.
just a gold digger chasing whatever girl's got the highest dowry." So that part was just like, just so like, just to see the girls turn against their mom like that, to be like, "Oh, wow, so even though I was the golden child, even though I was the favorite, I was always still trying to impress you, and, like, you actually didn't, like, you just pretended to care about me and pretended to like me and treat me well to make my sister feel bad, but, like, you actually didn't ever care for me in that
No,
way."
and it's not just to feel bad, but to keep your position because you couldn't have a heir, so now you're trying to make sure that I'm gonna be there to take care of you.
Also, like, you had to pit your daughters against each other because otherwise, if we came up against you, like, we wouldn't listen to what you like, the only way that any of this works is if you have one under your thumb and one who's just trying not to get squished.
Mhm. So then Violet proposes a mutual beneficial recount of events.
Mhm. Oh,
A big lie.
I forgot this part. When they were searching for the will to see all of that, did you maybe you already said this and I didn't catch it. When they were looking for the keys, it was like Cinderella's shoes. Which one's gonna fit?
Oh, okay, I didn't catch that.
And I was like, "Whoa!" Because, like, they will drop those little things, and, like,
Mhm.
her dress obviously is, like, in Bridgerton blue, but, like, it does have a Cinderella kind of
Yeah.
vibe for this one, but with the keys, I was like, "Wait, that's so fun," because the shoes happen at the very beginning, but,
Mhm.
like, to see that she's a princess, to find
Yep.
out what she gets in the will, if she's got the title, if she's close still to nobility, is there proof that proof that she's the quote unquote princess. Try on the shoes.
So smart. Good call,
Mhm.
Megan. So then Alice brings the queen in because she has the story. Alice has told her the story that the maid story was wrong. Alice is like, "This shit going down in the
Yeah.
room.
"Hey,
You wanna be there."
hey,
Yeah.
you might wanna get in there.
Uh-huh.
Stuff's going down." And she
Mhm.
goes, "Okay." Her and
Say
her
less.
giant fucking skirt, her big
With
ass
with
hair.
and she has on her husband's merch. His picture is on her dress. So, like,
Shut
somebody
up.
painted her yes.
Stop, that's so sweet. That's so them. And she's got, like, she's got everybody in the room with her. She goes, "So, what are we talking about?
Mhm.
I heard that you said blah, 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 blah." A little birdie told me, like,
Mhm.
that's what I love about Alice. Alice is like, you don't just have to, like, hear the drama. You can be in the thick of it. You're
Right.
allowed to have
You
a
can
front row
and
fucking
you can
seat.
create it too.
Yes, and that's the part that she's now realizing that she doesn't have to be passively a part of this.
Mhm.
She can really love this, and the one how, like, how Alice, like, sells her on it of being like, "You brought zebras to the White House. You brought zebras to the
To the
palace.
palace, uh-huh.
Like, you have changed everything. Like, you are fun. Like, you love art, you love music, you love gossip." Like, essentially being like, "Stop being, like, stuffy. Like, come on. Like, get your hands a little dirty. Like,
Mhm.
you're untouchable. No one can do anything. This is fun." And then she's like, "My God, this is fun,"
Right.
which I loved.
So then they get to the room, and the Bridgertons and Aramita, they've decided that they come up with a story that the maid's story was all wrong. Sophie is the daughter of a late Lord Penwood's cousin. Her name is Lady Sophie Gunn, and Aramita is forced to agree. And the queen clearly knows that they're lying.
Yeah.
Like, because she already knows the story. It's already been brought to her multiple ways. Like, Lady Danbury has already pleaded with her,
Mhm.
and also, Alice knows all the information, so she doesn't punish them. She is just giggling to herself and entertained when she turns her back to them.
'Cause she's in on it. Like,
Yes.
now it's not just about hearing the gossip. Like Alice said, this wasn't even her plan for it. You're a part of it now. Like, you
Mhm.
get to be in it, and, like, you know the secret, and you know the truth.
So she goes along with it and shows Alice a little appreciation for delivering some good gossip. And then, to everyone outside that room, Sophie's legitimately an heir, which she
Well,
still is regardless, she's a Penwood.
I thought this was, like, low-key just, like, because by the way, guys, we could have lied the whole time. Like, there
But
is
then
no
we'd have no
Google.
story.
You have, like, any of that. So, like, I was slightly disappointed in that aspect of the reveal. Like, I think it could have been
No, because Arameda wanted the money, so it couldn't have been the lie because then she couldn't have kept all the money.
what money did she keep?
Her dowry. She wanted to keep she took Sophie's dowry.
She didn't give it back.
Well, now she did, but,
That's what I'm
like,
saying.
that wouldn't have been the original, like, it couldn't have they had to come up with the plan first. And it
Y
also had to be revealed that her dowry was being given to Rosamond.
Yeah, I think in the sense that, like, I was looking because then at one point, like, Posey was like, "We're cousins," and I was like,
Mhm. Y'all are sisters.
yeah, and she's like, "We're sisters," and I'm like, "Wait," but I was trying to figure out if the cousin part was, like not to go back to my incest story,
Why do you
if
keep
that
bringing this
was
up?
no,
As 2 people that
I
absolutely have talked about how much we hate incest and how much it's just
I know, and
casually
it
brought up,
ruins
why are
shows.
right, why are you bringing
No,
it up
okay,
now?
only because I had brought it up before because I thought that there was something else with the necklace. Like, I just thought that
I did think there was something
okay,
else with the
so
necklace, but
this
not
wasn't
an
wishful.
incest story. I just thought it was what we talked about originally, that
Yes.
her mom was actually like a lady in waiting
Well,
or something,
that
and
bubble
then
was
there was a
burst,
cheating.
but that was the bubble was burst for me for that prior to her losing her necklace when the other maid was like, "Oh, I worked with the Beck as a maid." And I was
Yeah,
like, "Oh, fuck, so she is a
yeah.
maid." So, like, maybe, it was something else, and that she was, like, the cover. She wasn't actually the
Mhm.
mom.
Or it could have been like what, Violet was hoping is that she could have been a maid that ran away because that's like her mom could have
Oh,
been
yeah.
somebody that was of nobility but ran away.
I thought it was that she wasn't actually her mom, and it because she never met her mom, like, and it was, like, that was, like, the cover story or whatever, but then at the part where she was like, "Oh, we're cousins, she's of the Penwood River," and I was at that moment because we didn't see them come up with the lie, I go, "So was this in the will, or
No,
are we
this
now
was the
lying?"
Bridgertons coming up
Yeah,
with the lie. So
because then at
then
first I thought Posey was
it
like she was like, "We're cousins," she goes, "We're sisters," and I was like, "Are you cousins and sisters?"
No, she was just
Okay,
saying
I
just
got
like they were
confused.
cousins
Okay,
because of the new lie that they come up with,
okay,
and then sisters and then
yeah,
Sophie corrects her because they are sisters because their dad was married to
yes.
their mom. Like they really are sisters.
Okay. I was, like, posing that moment
But
going like, "Oh, this is real." And I was like, "Cousin
legitimately
sisters?"
cousins, off record sisters.
Wait, so they are legitimately cousins?
Because they had to make it legitimate so then Sophie could be part of society.
How do you make it legitimate?
So now, they've been calling her an illegitimate child this whole time because
No, but
she's n
okay, so when you say
I'm
legitimate,
s
you mean in terms of ranking, not like she's actually they're actually
no, in
cousins.
terms of ranking.
Okay, when you said legitimate, I said,
No.
"So they are cousins."
No, 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 in terms of ranking.
Okay, but illegitimate versus legitimate. I get what you mean. I get what you mean.
Yes.
Okay. I unfortunately am in fact Posey. This is me. So,
And then Benedict proposes and asks her what's it like to become a gun, and he's like, It's not gonna last that long
yeah.
because you're gonna be a
You good?
Bridgerton."
You done with that? And then not only is she introduced to society, walks through the door, Benedict Bridgerton, he's got a girl. Now that girl's got a ring, and he proposes in the middle of the dance floor,
Mhm.
and she's wearing the same gloves that she wore on the first night that they met. And of course, also by the way, Colin just in the background the whole time. He just don't know if you noticed him. Didn't say a word.
I don't
Just
I don't think I know
there.
that I looked for Penelope because I'm like, the queen has to tell her, you got to pay up now for the bet.
Yeah. Well, Penelope's in the corner going, "Oh," and Colin's just.
Yes. Yeah, I
I wrote.
remember seeing Penelope, but I don't remember Colin there.
I wrote down saying, Colin has 20 lines maximum this entire season, and that's generous. And so now I wrote down in all caps, "Are you kidding? I want to see a wedding." Then my favorite though is like Queen Charlotte and Lady Dansbury giggling, laughing, and
Brimsley.
Brimsley looking at them and like smiling. I was like, I'm gonna sob. Like I am going to sob now. That is so sweet. And when she goes, "I command us to stop."
Yes, because then
Killed.
people would see them being emotional, and they can't have
Yeah.
that. So good. We also got, which I was sad about, because well, before this happens, Michaela does leave Francesca. Yeah, and Francesca is heartbroken. And then also and the thing is, like, Francesca was excited to be at home alone with her without going to the ball too, when I felt
Mhm.
bad. Then we hear the main montage music, and Julie Andrews' voice comes back, because I was sad, because I was like, are we not going to have Lady Whistledown anymore?
Who's gonna report on this?
Right. And then we have a quick word, but it's not Penelope, because Colin here's some of his lines. He goes to her room where she's writing, and he's like, I thought we were done with Lady Whistledown. And she's like, no, I'm working on my novel. Then he pulls from his back. Then what is this? Who wrote this? Lady Whistledown. We've got a new author.
And we hear that voice as Sophie and Benedict are dancing in the gazebo where they had their first kiss. We hear the midnight ding, and she doesn't have to run away. And she's like, "I think I'll stay for as long as you'll have me." And I was like, ugh. But at the end, I don't know if this is Julie Andrews being wonderful actor. At the end, it doesn't even sound like her voice.
That sounded like her to
Like the
me.
very last line, I was like,
I'll have to go back and listen.
it sounded like it could have been somebody else. Like it sounded like it started as her and then it morphed into a different narrator voice. But it was only one line, so I was like, it could have just been the delivery of it, or that was intentional. But I was like, oh my God. And then of course I turned it off and I went to bed. And then I woke up this morning and I said, fuck, I was supposed to watch that. And I click and I go, well, that's how you know I was watching it at 2:30 a.m. because there's 7 minutes left, Megan, of the
Yes.
credits. You're going to think
like
that's all
I'm
credits?
sitting there, because usually that thing pops up where
It immediately
Netflix
starts
is
playing
like,
something else.
yeah, it's like, do you want to, or tries to make you play something else. And so I was actually looking for my remote at this time while I'm about to turn it off.
You saw it organically. You didn't see it
Yes.
online.
No.
Oh, wow.
No, I saw it organically.
That's a
and
fun
I was
surprise.
like, what is this?
And thank God, because lights come back on, and what do I see but rows of chairs on the left, rows of chairs on the right, and a space to walk in the middle. And my God, thank God we have another fucking wedding, because we've only ever had 2 in this entire show that's about getting married. The fuck? So
Yeah. Did we not see Penelope and Colin's wedding?
Well, if we did, they were mad at each other. We get to see Alfie walk Sophie down the aisle. I cried.
But we're also at our cottage too. I want to point that out.
Well, by the way, that makes perfect sense, because I wrote down it's the only place they could end up is the place where the help have only ever treated her like a lady. She has never been one of them. And that it's also like not her friends and like not her peers like that. Which I was like, that's where they have to settle down.
Yep.
But he's walking her down the aisle, and then you see, like, Hazel. It was a little, like, they did a little bit of mixing, but, like, at first I was like, did you separate by class on one side versus the other? And then we zoom out and Lady Danbury. I go, okay, thank God. Because I was like, this is feeling, I get they'd be sitting together, but, like, maybe.
Well, you sit by the side of the family that you.
Totally. But I'm like, maybe not. Like, maybe let's integrate it a little bit more. And I just thought it was, like, so sweet when Anthony was like, brother, never follow my advice again. And I was like, he's like, cool. Was never going to, never did, won't ever do it again. And it was just like so sweet. She looked so beautiful. I like loved the whole look. Like they've got great chemistry. And then we showed that he did the painting of her without the mask. I cried. I loved it. I was either, like, cringing from how long the sex scenes were, and, like, they were lovely, they were wonderful. I cannot help but, like, think of filming them, specifically the one in the fucking bathtub.
So, the one in the bathtub, she actually got, like, broke out in, like, hives
Yeah.
from it because they were in it for 6 hours, and she was told to put baby powder on to keep her skin drier, and so it wouldn't wrinkle too, and she had to get a
No,
steroid shot the next day.
when I tell you that, like, as somebody who has, like, such sensitive skin, but, like, who also has circulation problems, my toenail would have fallen off if I sat in the
Yeah.
water for 6 hours. Like, I just couldn't stop thinking about, like, and also, like, that is so when you yell "cut," you can't just, like, you throw a wet towel on you, like,
Mhm.
you're in close quarters with someone who, like, you can't really wear the same modesty,
No.
garments the same way, and, like, you can't, like, oftentimes in those scenes, like, you just to be because like, sometimes physiologically things happen, and so you, like, physically separate. They're in a bathtub, and, like, no matter how it's just, like, awkward for everybody, and so I just could not stop thinking about how they fucking filmed that scene. I was like, all day in a bathtub. It was beautiful,
It
but,
was
like, damn, that's
beautiful.
tough.
In that wedding scene, though, we got a lot of good information from people. So,
Oh, what'd we get? Oh, yeah.
Eloise admits that she loves weddings, specifically as an attendee,
Mhm.
but that means she's softening a little bit on the wedding. Francesca said she doesn't even want to consider marrying again. And then Hazel and Footman John are making eyes at each other.
Mhm. And we
And
see that, Violet's reaction when she says that Francesca doesn't wanna marry again is kind of like, "I could marry again."
this was a great season.
I
This is
loved
I'm
it.
this has become my favorite season.
Me too, and it's nothing again here's the thing.
No,
If
it's
if
nothing against anybody.
no.
It's just that we got full stories.
Yes, and we got more characters that I really
Mhm.
loved meeting, and, like, if I could take just the, eating pussy in the gazebo,
Mhm.
all those things from Anthony and Kate's season and remove the fact that, like, he was, in fact, like, marrying her sister. If I
Yeah.
could take away those stakes and, like, that stress level, I would, like, for sure, but, like, this to me had something that was, like, there was nothing to lose and everything to gain in this, like,
Yes.
the stakes-wise,
Yeah.
like, it just
I
didn't it felt like I was able to enjoy the love story a bit more.
yes. I think by in Kate and Anthony's season, by episode 4, they were together, and then we saw them getting to know each other more, like,
Mhm.
on a personal level, I would've been it's just that we never really saw them as a couple
No, they could
together.
never relax, like, that's the
Mhm.
part that it's like, for me, I don't love when, like, we spend the whole season getting together and we don't get to
Yep.
see them together, so, like, that was the thing with why I mean, I think a lot of us are upset with, like, the lack of Kate and Anthony in the season and, like, have the subsequent seasons because they didn't get together till the end, and they have such
Mhm.
amazing chemistry, and it has been one of people's favorite ones that, like, you wanna see more of them, and that was,
Yep.
I think I'm glad that they took note of that for this season, especially if you're
Yes.
going to, like, move on to new characters the next season and we're not gonna see as much about them, like, give us the whole love story.
Yep. Yep. Agree. 'Cause I they did a good job of showing, like, last season, showing how Benedict was kinda tired of fucking around. We
Mhm.
also got that's when we were introduced to Francesca and John and Michaela too, so they've done a good job of weaving things in. Also, Violet and Lord Anderson too. So, what do you think the next I feel like they can go in so many different ways.
I think it's going to be Eloise, just for a Claudia Jessie age thing.
Yeah.
I think it's because I think at some point they'll have to, like, deviate more farther from the book if they wait longer. So, I think it'll be her next. My prediction, I think it's gonna be, like, a friendship marriage. I don't think it's gonna be romantic. I think it'll be more or it will be like a we marry out of it'll be like a Queen Charlotte. We marry out not we marry because I'm getting shipped off, but, like, marriage of convenience that you end up falling in love, I think that's the only chance I see it being romantic. Otherwise, I think it's, like
It's not true to her.
yeah, otherwise, I think it's, like, a friendship one where it's, like, 2 people who really don't succumb to that, and, like, whether there are implications that maybe one of them or both of them are gay or whatever that is, uh, that it is that, and then I think through that, we will be getting because I think it will be like a different sort of how we've defined love story, and I think that will set the stage and we will get more beginnings of Francesca's love story because it
Mhm.
is also a non-traditional from
And
what we have
people
seen.
are mad.
There's
It's funny, though, the different audiences that I see
yeah.
on Instagram, even though the, like, posts with Michaela and Francesca, they have the highest likes, but the comments, it's a lot of haters in the comments. But on Twitter, it's, like, the same post, it's just like Bridgerton or Shondaland
Yeah.
or Netflix's, um, post, the exact same post. They do the exact same post on both
Mhm.
platforms. More people are way more excited about Francesca and Michaela.
Well, I also think that, like I'm sorry, I oftentimes don't like when people deviate from books. I think objectively, this makes it a much more interesting storyline.
Yes.
Much more interesting because, like, it makes because they were like, "Well, we wanna show that your her fertility issues and all of that," and I'm like, "Okay, I will be real, I don't think that, like, 1800s fertility representation is, like, going to be, like, talking about the real issue that women deal with in present day of
Yes.
fertility." Like, I just like, people are like, "Well, that part, like, I think that's really important," and I'm like, it's just not going I don't think it was ever written to be relatable because it's
It
the
wasn't.
1800s.
But also in the book, from what I understand, against we're 2 people that haven't read the book. From what I understand is, like, we don't even learn that she has children until the epilogue. Like, it's not even part of the
Well,
main story. So it's not that
also
important.
in again, if you don't want spoilers from what we've heard in the book, we don't know if this
Mhm.
happens in this, but, like, they're like people are being like, "No, it's really to have the fertility thing, like, be a really big struggle." I go, "But she then has a kid, like,
Mhm.
with someone
Somebody else.
else." And so to me, that's just like they're like, "Well, how is that gonna happen? Like, how are they gonna show that?" I'm like, "I don't think they need to show that." I think it is much, much, much more interesting in this to have her have had issues with, like, loving someone and, like, and I think a lot of people are, like, thinking that this means she doesn't love John. I'm like, "No, no, no," but, like,
No, we fully saw her love John.
totally, and, like, intimacy-wise, they also and people are like, "Oh, like, she could never get off because, like, she's gay," and I'm like, maybe," but
N
also, like, they weren't together that long, and,
no.
like, a lot of these men don't know what the fuck that they're doing in
Because he
order to
wasn't a
enjoy
rake
themselves.
like the rest of his
Yes!
boys.
So, like, doesn't mean that she didn't, like, love him in all of those ways as well, but, like,
Mhm.
I do think this idea of, like, moving on from a widow with grief, like, that's already hard enough, and then finding out that, like, it makes sense, a lot of the person you lean on while you're grieving and all of that, I think that to me, as opposed to, like, it being, like supposed to be his, like, brother or his cousin who she meets and then they fall in love and,
Mhm.
like, have kids, and I was like,
That's weird.
"That's weird," and, like, this was nice that he got to, like, see them be friends, and, like, he literally had this look where he was like it's like he knew he was gonna die, and be like, "She's gonna be okay, she has
Yep.
Michaela."
Yep. And that Michaela would be okay. He
Yep.
want happiness for the both of them, because all he wanted was for them to be friends,
Mhm.
the 2 most important people to him. Also, like, there are different ways to have children, you don't have to actually give birth to them.
Yep.
Like, the Duke was one of Lady Danbury's kids. She took him in.
Oh, yeah.
She has, like, 4 other kids that we just
I
saw in, like,
forget.
Queen Charlotte. But, yeah, like, I'm excited. And there's also I think there also could set up a, like, Lady Danbury. What are her kids do like, this adventure that she's going on now could be her, like, we could get
Mm.
a prequel for her, like, how she got to where she was, and, also, like, after she was fucking Violet's dad, what she was like, who she was with in between there, and also, like, while she's traveling, she could go meet up with her kids that we only saw for 2 seconds when they were children.
I thought it would be interesting if they did and it would be like a heavy how Queen Charlotte did like present day and past. Like, I think they'd have to do a little more
Mhm,
heavy of this because it would be different than that. But thinking about that's Lady Danbury getting getting her title, like all of these things, like
yeah,
the how that happened, and then also how that was like happened for the Mondriches, and having that be a side by side story while doing present day of
mhm,
their stories. I was like, that would be interesting with them, and like I don't know. I also think I could see Alice being the queen's switch stuff up even more
mhm.
in the palace.
And then also another one could be Violet and Edmund, how she was like a wild child, as she told
Yep.
us, and how they get together, but also seeing that mirrored with her relationship with Lord Anderson as well.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of different stories that I feel like they're setting up
Yeah.
that they could tell.
And I think I mean, it's obviously doing very, very well, but I mean, I've also heard you know what I heard, which I really don't want to be true? I've heard the next season is Hyacinth, and I was like, "No, absolutely motherfucking
No,
not.
because she's still on the show,
She's a
she's still a
child.
child.
She's a child."
Yes, she is 18 in real life, but on the show, she is still a child.
Well, they're saying that she'd make her debut next year, and I go, "No, I ca
No.
you've set the precedent that these are 30-year-olds pretending to be 20 fucking. You can't have an 18-year-old fucking. I'm
Yep.
uncomfortable."
No. So, yeah. And who do you think is, the new Lady Whistledown?
I really want it to be Eloise. I want it to be Eloise, and I want that to be, like that's what she wants to do in her marriage of convenience,
Mhm.
and then that her partner has something else or whatever. So that is my ideal.
That's my ideal
I think
as
they're gonna
well.
fake us out and make us think it's Cressida again. It's definitely
I don't
not.
think no, because she would get banished again. I don't think Cressida would
No,
even
no, no,
try
I
to
don't
do
think
it
she would at all, but I think that's the next season's gonna start with her being the first one to be
because
accused.
she's reading now.
Mhm. You can read now, so we think
Yeah.
this is you.
Mhm.
Um, and the other option that I thought was it could be Posey, and that's how she stays. And then it's like, oh
Mhm.
my god, plot twist, Posey is smart. Like she might
Mhm.
not be great at speaking the words out loud, but written on paper, they're fine. Or
I was thinking it could be Hyacinth because she's, like,
I
in this depressive state,
I
and she wants
wondered
to
that, but she seems like I could see them writing it, but I think that would be a bad hint because she feels like low key clueless. I guess this one didn't reveal too much.
Mm-mm.
So,
Yeah, but my initial thought was Eloise,
yeah.
especially because she looked down on it in the beginning.
Because she was jealous.
Mhm. And then she had went on that whole witch hunt where she was hired by the queen to find out who it was.
In that fucking cloak. And I was like,
Yeah.
"Okay." We still she just walking through the streets of grimy London in a blue velvet coat. Who could that be? And it's like, "Girl, you're not fooling anybody."
No.
She looks like one of the traders from the traders. It's me. But I love this. I rate this 1 illegitimate child, 1 fake cousin, 0 incest, and
Thank you for clearing that up because
yes.
you seem very
No.
pro-cest.
No, again, I was just
Look, I'm just going off what was happening.
unfortunately, in this time period, that was more okay than being a bastard
Oh, I
child.
know. That's why I initially thought that Francesca was gonna be very jealous, like, sexually,
Oh,
of Francesca or, Michaela and John.
Mott's again, because Mott's fell asleep, he is not picking up on the lesbianism at all. He quite
Mhm.
literally thinks that John and Michaela had a sexual relationship.
No. No.
Like, no, no, no. What you're picking up is sexual tension between the women.
Yeah.
The
But
women.
I will say, and I've been reading interviews now, by that I mean yesterday, after we recorded it, and it does seem like that they are gearing up Michaela and Francesca.
I think they're gonna give them because people are loving Hannah Dodd too.
Mhm,
I think they're gonna give them 2 seasons. I think it's gonna be the first half is gonna be in this next season with Eloise,
mhm.
and then I think the next half will be in the following season, and that'll
Yeah.
be, like, the start of another thing.
So, I'm excited. I'm excited.
Me too.
I,
I can't
uh,
wait.
I can't wait either, and the actress that plays Michaela said she was like, "She's a rake," so I think they're going to aim to make all these homophobes real mad.
I think we're about to see a lot of titties, and
Mhm.
not that I've been looking, but dresses only do so much. That girl, she's she's got some
Mhm.
she's got some she's beautiful everywhere.
She's built.
She she is very well built.
Mhm.
Very well built, and she's just, like, beautiful, and, like,
Yep.
I love how they shot her, and that's why I also thought that I was like, "Okay, definitely, without a doubt, that is starting next season. Because how some of the shots are, I was like, "They're glowing, they want you to
Mhm.
look beautiful," like, and that's on purpose, like, it is just there's a one shot of her from her profile that I was like,
Yes. She looks like
"Holy
Barbie. It
fuck."
looks like the Barbie
Yes,
profile.
I was like, "My god, you're beautiful." Like, she's just gorgeous.
Her name is Masali.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And her acting style reminds me a little bit of Francesca, like, of Hannah Dodd's style in this, where, like, there's a lot of playing a different kind of yearning, which is, like,
Mhm.
for a real true, even in this time, like, forbidden yearning,
Mhm.
which I love a breadcrumb romance, and I
Me
think
too.
that this has already started.
Yep. That's why I mentioned that when they woke up for breakfast, which note that Francesca was late when she was all about being early for breakfast, but there was a place setting next to John, and she chose to sit next to Michaela.
Yep. And even when they're, like, sitting on the couches, she sits right next to her.
Mhm. Or if they're, like, doing this body thing where they're, like, leaning their bodies, like, away, but towards each other.
I love it.
Yeah. So,
Love, love, love.
I'm excited. I'm excited with
Me
what they're
too.
doing with
I
this
can't
show.
wait.
Me
Can't wait.
either. I hope it's not another 2 years.
It won't be, because that was a, strike thing.
I know. But there might be another strike
No, no,
coming.
no, no. By the way, I understood what you meant. I was speaking one reality into existence, and you decided to just fuck that all
I
up.
mean, the actual WGA, like, the people that work for the WGA are striking.
Mhm.
So, all right. Thank you for joining us. We will be back next week. It's my choice. Yes.
Yeah.
For if you don't wanna watch this, just tell me,
Okay.
and then I have another choice.
Uh-huh.
Because the Oscars will be coming out,
Okay.
one battle after another.
Oh, no, yeah, that's been on our
Okay.
list.
Okay.
We have been Monty's gonna be stoked. Literally,
Okay.
our only issue is we haven't started it early enough in the day because we can't watch it on a weeknight because it's too fucking
Mhm.
long.
Mhm. Okay. Now you got 2 weeks because we did 2 this week,
Yep.
so you got time.
Oh, I'm so excited. Speaking of built and beautiful women
Right.
and men who are just there, much like Colin Bridgerton.
Mhm. Mhm.
And
Different energies, though. Very different energies.
yeah, but I'm keeping Leo humble. Come on. Let me just he can be Colin. He's more so he has a in the movie from all the trailers and everything I've seen, he has like he has Eloise energy.
Yeah.
Can't wait. Okay.
Alright.
Woohoo!
Join us on Monday for Don't Blame Me, and then we'll be back on Thursday with one battle after another.
Yay.
Bye.
Bye-bye. This is a Sister Sign production hosted by me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa D. Montz, plus Diamond Imprint Productions.
Post-production by Coco Lorenz.
Production assistance by Melanie D. Watson.
And music by Ryan Hunter and Giacomo Picasso.